Welcome back to another episode of Combat and Tactics, brought to you by the Knights of Last Call. I'm Derek Melinda, the Game Master for the Knights of Last Call, and today I am joined by the two big bad martial melee masters of Knights of Last Call, Bob.
Chainmail Bob that can't sneak.
And Nick.
How you doing?
Bob and Nick, of course, play Azius, and Escanor are Paladin and Dwarf. Paladin and Barbarian.
Yes.
I don't even think
he is a dwarf, though.
He is a dwarf, but it's funny. I just think it's like, oh, he's not a barbarian. He's just a dwarf, and just dwarves just do
just
that.
a dwarf.
So today, in our ongoing series about combat and tactics for the Pathfinder 2 game, we are going to continue to talk a little bit about skills in combat. And the last two volumes, we've talked about athletics.
Mm-hmm. So
today, we want to focus on stealth.
Absolutely. And I know that if you've watched some of our other videos and maybe some of our other friends, shout out to Deadly D8, our friend Eli over there at Deadly D8. He did a video where he took our 3-action economy video and with his editors and animators and kind of did that up real nice. And it's actually pretty dang cool if I do say so myself. So if you're listening or you want to check out Deadly D8's channel as well and let them know what do you think of it and let you know if they should keep going with that kind of stuff. Yeah,
we'll put a link to Deadly D8's video below. Again, it was a collab with us. It was pretty fun, and he took one of the videos that he really liked, our 3-action economy video, edited it down, added a bunch of fun animations. So if you like the Knight stuff, you like Deadly D8 stuff, I recommend you to go check it out.
Absolutely.
So we're going to talk about stealth. Now, of course, we're talking about this with two melee characters.
Yeah.
Who cannot be stealthy whatsoever.
Yeah, who have no ranks in stealth. Well, no, that's not true, okay.
I have a lot of rank in stealth. I just wear chainmail.
Well, that's what I mean, though.
Well, but that's important. Okay, look, we are going to start the learning early.
Absolutely.
Folks.
Straight out the gate.
So that's a great place to start. Because one of the cool things about Pathfinder 2nd Edition, which has changed significantly, especially from Pathfinder 1, is, for starters, there's really no such thing as class skills or cross-class skills. You could take training in stealth, no matter who you are.
Yep.
Everyone has free stealth or free skill proficiencies. Everyone gets skill increases that you can put into any skill you wish. You can put them into stealth if you want to.
Right.
So that's the first thing. The second thing is, in older editions of the game, used to have armor check penalty. It still exists in Pathfinder 2, but it's mostly irrelevant. Armor check penalty used to prevent you basically from being able to even try to make a stealth check or a hide check if you were in any sort of real heavy armor.
Oh, okay.
Now, that still exists in Pathfinder 2, but it's very small. It's only like a -1 or a -2. And most importantly, if your strength is higher than 14 or 16, you ignore all the penalties.
I was reading that. So it's only if you're putting in armor that you shouldn't be wearing?
Basically.
Oh, okay.
And so it never really comes up.
Okay.
Because 9 times out of 10, if you're wearing full plate, you're some sort of fighter or barbarian or paladin
that's wearing full plate
and
armor.
you have 18 strength. And
right.
so you don't take any penalty for it. I mean, in your case, Bob, Azius probably only needs a strength 14 to ignore the armor check penalty. So you basically get no penalty from your armor. And you can take the skill. You could become trained. You could become expert. You can go as high as you want. And obviously, if you have a good dex, that helps, but you don't necessarily need it. And one thing that you'll learn in Pathfinder 2 is that as you get higher in level, you're going to get all these ability boosts at 5 and 10 and 15.
Yep.
And as you only have one primary stat. You only get +1 if you put it into a stat higher than 18.
Yep.
Right. But you get +2 if you put it into a stat that's lower. And so like you might have started the game off with like a 12 dex, but you go, I put it into dex at 5. I put it into dex at 10, I put in dex. Suddenly you end the game with an 18 dex. So your dex actually isn't that bad,
right?
Compared to even the people who have really good dex. So that's number 2. So you can have the training and you can ignore the penalties and you actually have a reasonable bonus. Okay, second thing, you mentioned your chainmail.
Because it has the noisy trait.
It has the noisy trait. The noisy trait prevents you from using the avoid notice exploration activity.
Got it.
Hey everyone, Editor Derek here. And I just wanted to quickly clarify something. When I made that statement about the noisy trait, I was going based off of the core rulebook, which describes that the noisy trait makes it difficult and to use the avoid notice activity. However, upon doing some additional follow-ups for this video, I discovered that this was in fact a part of the core rulebook errata, which I was not aware of. And you can see that the actual effect of the noisy trait is right here, which gives you the stealth penalty even if your strength is good enough, which means that you can use the avoid notice activity while you are in exploration mode, even if you are wearing chainmail or a chain shirt. However, the armor check penalty from chainmail or chain shirt applies no matter what your strength score is, because it's a bunch of, chainmail. Why? I didn't know that. Well, I guess I just missed that part of the errata. So just keeping you informed, and back to the video. That means being quiet outside of combat.
Yeah, so I could still hide or
you could
sneak.
You could still hide or sneak inside of a combat.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So just because you're wearing chainmail or even full plate doesn't actually give you any penalty to your attempt to hide. You're just as good as someone who isn't wearing wearing cloth.
Like
doesn't really matter.
Yeah, like burl and
Yeah.
And I mean, and also too, remember, like your armor, right, has a +1 potency rune on it.
Yes.
Which means it could have a property rune.
I could put something on there.
And no one's armor has a property rune. There is there's like a shadow rune, which gives you a bonus to stealth.
Yep.
So there are definitely ways to get your stealth up there. So why might someone use stealth? Well, in our conversation about stealth, I think we're going to be touching on a couple different skills which sort of surround stealth. Most notably,
sneak.
Well, that's that's a thing that uses stealth. Mostly deception.
Okay.
But we're also going to talk a little bit about cover and concealment.
Yeah.
Line of sight and how all that's calculated.
Visibility and everything.
Because again, we're really focused here on the combat and tactics part, right?
Right.
So let's focus first on what is the main benefit of using stealth.
Making the enemy flat-footed?
Yes and no. It's to become hidden.
Oh, okay.
Right?
You're talking about like cover and...
Yeah. So there are 3 different levels of observation. There's observed, there's hidden, and then there is
unnoticed.
Undetected.
Undetected. Yes. Unnoticed is technically part of that, but it's outside of a different tier.
Okay.
So yeah, so unnoticed means you literally don't even know that they're even there. You're not even in initiative order because they don't even, you're just completely unknown that you're even there.
So undetected is in initiative order. You just don't know where they're at.
Undetected means you know that there is an enemy or something nearby, but you cannot see them and you do not know what square they are in.
Mm-hmm.
You just have you know that their presence is there basically.
Exactly. There's someone in this room with me.
Okay.
I don't know where they are. That's undetected. Hidden means I know which square on the battlefield they're in, but I can't get a good look at them. Can't see them directly. And that means that if I attack them, I have to succeed at a flat DC 11 check, which basically means you have a 50% chance of missing.
Yes, you do that first before you even...
Yeah. Now, your attack is
do
used.
that
Your
to
spell
be
slot
allowed to hit.
Yes, if you succeed with that flat DC 11 check, then you can make your normal attack. You can still just miss normally.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of my point.
Now,
then the last status is observed, which is just the normal status. Means you can see them. Yeah.
Now, if you do the DC flat check for 11, and let's say you're a spellcaster because distance.
Yep.
You use 2 actions to cast that spell, and you have to do that check. If you fail that check, do you still get to keep those 2 actions?
No.
They're gone, right?
The actions are gone, and the spell slot is gone.
Right.
You cast it basically. You just aimed at the wrong spot.
So that's something to know. That's why cover and hidden is so potent, because in the 3 action economy, it burns some of their actions potentially. You have a 50-50 shot of burning.
They could miss.
Yeah.
But then there's the chance that they don't even get to...
Well, it's a huge defensive bonus.
Yes.
Right? If you can hide, then if they want to attack you, outside of whatever normal chance they have of hitting you, right? I mean, let's just say they have a 50% chance of hitting you normally using their attack roll. Well, now they have to make a 50% chance roll to hit you, and they have to make a 50% chance roll to see if they can hit you through your hidden. That is essentially like, if you do the math on it, it means they now only have a 25% chance to hit you.
It's awesome.
Right.
Which means that before, if you want to put it into one roll, they would now need a 16 or higher to hit you, as opposed to an 11 or higher. So it's very, very strong defensively. Nice. So how do you become hidden? Well, in our game here, we've got Escanor, we've got Asius, we've got Burl, and conveniently enough, we've got a pillar in the middle of the room. And we've got a lizard man.
Oh, no.
All right. Now, we'll put him here for the people at home. There we go. All right. This lizard man has cover from our party.
Yep.
Correct.
Okay. In order to make a hide check, you have to use, so stealth has a couple different uses. One of them is hide. If you make a hide check, you roll a stealth check, and then you compare it to the perception DCs of the other people in the room.
Yep.
Okay. Remember, to create a DC out of something, you just take the bonus and add 10. There are no opposed rolls in Pathfinder 2. I don't make a perception check and then you make a stealth check and we see who got higher. It's always a check versus a DC. So in my case, I'm the active character. I'm the lizard man. I'm trying to hide. I'm going to make a stealth check. I'm going to roll it. I'm going to add my bonuses. I got a 25.
Okay.
Does that beat the people's perception DC? If it does, I'm hidden to them. Hiding is a lot like flanking. Okay. It's subjective, meaning you might be hidden to some characters,
but not others,
and not hidden to others. Right?
Yeah.
So you got to kind of keep track, right, of who you're hidden against. So if my lizard man rolled and he rolled high enough that he is hidden to Escanor and he's hidden to Azius, but not hidden to Burl, well, then he's not hidden to Burl.
Yeah.
And Burl doesn't have that DC 11 flat check, that 50% mischance.
But if he has cover, he still gets.
Well, sure.
Okay.
So we'll talk about this in a second. So in order to make a hide check, you need one of two things. Okay. You either need cover or you need concealment.
Right.
Okay.
And that's like fog and mist.
That's like fog and mist and stuff.
Like
we can get to that in a second. But the standard way you're going to do it is with cover.
Okay.
Now, there are 3 types of cover in the game. There's lesser cover, and greater cover. Now, these give you ever-increasing bonuses to your armor class. They also give you a bonus to your reflex saves, and they give you a bonus to your hide checks.
Oh, to make the check.
To actually make the check.
Makes sense.
Okay. So in the case of lesser cover, what is lesser cover? Well, the easiest way to understand lesser cover is there something between you and your target which is more or less the shape of a person?
I was thinking, is it a person?
It's like a person. So the classic example would be if we had if we had this
here's Gwildor.
Well, Gwildor's a bad example. Let's say we have we have this dire badger here. If Escanor was trying to shoot the lizard man, well, there's a creature in the way. That's lesser cover, right?
Because I'd have to shoot around something.
You have to shoot around something, but
I still could do it.
And that character will get a +1 bonus to their armor class. It should be noted, and this is important for our discussion, is that you cannot hide if you have lesser cover.
Because it's not basically you don't have enough.
It's not good enough. It's not good enough.
Not concealment. I shouldn't use that phrase.
You should not.
I caught myself, but you don't have enough area to technically hide behind.
You got it.
Okay.
Now, there are some feats in the game. Of course, this is Pathfinder 2. Wouldn't be Pathfinder 2 if it wasn't, some sort of crazy thing. Halflings, for example, can get a feat that lets them hide with lesser cover.
Okay.
Makes sense. Basically, they're smaller.
Yeah, they're sneaky little hobbit people, so they can, go ahead and get hidden.
Okay.
So lesser cover is usually given by an ally I should say a creature between you. It also could be the case that, like, let's say there was, I don't know, just dinky little barrel, between the lizard men and everybody else. You go, well, this is
GM ruling.
Yeah, this is, a lot of it it's subjective. And I think it's fine to ask your GM and say, what kind of cover does this provide? Okay.
Right.
And in this case, this little barrel here provides lesser cover because it's not that big, right? It's not something substantial. On the other hand, something real meaty, like a big thick pillar that takes up the entire square, that provides cover.
Okay.
Or standard cover or regular cover. Now, this gives you a +2 bonus to your armor class. I should note, this is important. This is a knight's notice. Cover provides a circumstance bonus to your armor class because the circumstances is that I'm hiding or I'm taking cover behind this pillar.
Yep.
Shields provide a circumstance bonus to cover or to your armor class.
Yep.
That means shields and cover don't stack.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Boo. No.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it makes sense because
I mean,
if you're hiding behind a pillar and you have your shield up,
It's just a shield.
yeah, like
It's the same thing.
exactly.
So in this case, cover does allow you to hide.
Okay.
But that +2 bonus to your armor class also applies to reflex saves, and it applies to that stealth check.
Got it.
So
That allows you to hide,
it allows you to hide,
but with the bonus.
but with a bonus.
Yeah.
So again, if you aren't,
Is that a plus?
it's +2.
+2
Everything's
bonus?
+2.
+2.
+2 bonus to reflex, circumstance bonus to reflex, circumstance bonus to armor class, circumstance bonus to stealth. So again, you might not be particularly well trained, but if you can get some hard cover, like being behind a pillar or being around a corner, okay, then you can get a +2 bonus. Now, we should note that the way that you determine whether or not you have cover from an enemy is you draw a line between the center of their square and the center of your square. If that line passes through something solid and meaty, then that creature has cover.
Okay.
The type of cover, well, that depends on what you and your GM feel is most appropriate. Again, if it's a solid stone wall, it's probably cover. If it's something like a barrel or something
Lesser.
it might be lesser cover. And lastly, you might have something really, really, robust. Like, I don't know, you might have like a full barricade of boxes and there's a barrel on top of it, right? Something really, really substantial that I can't actually do because this is too far out of my grasp. In this case, your GM might rule that is greater cover. Now, greater cover gives you a +4 circumstance bonus to your armor class, to your reflex saves, and to your stealth checks.
Okay.
And it allows you to make that hide check.
Now, if you were behind some cover, can you get into greater cover?
Yes.
Is it only with you have something substantial?
Well, you need something substantial, but there
Okay.
is a way that you can take other forms of cover and make them better.
Okay.
And we're going to cover that next time.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because stealth is a pretty complex set of rules, but it's a very, very cool way to manipulate the combat and really get some good offensive and some defensive advantages. And we are going to break it up into a couple different segments, just like we did with athletics. So next time, we're going to talk about concealment.
Yep.
We're going to talk about take cover action. And we're also going to get into some of the ways that you can use stealth to give yourself some offensive firepower in your next combat.
Right up my alley.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks a lot for joining us, and join us next time on Knights of Last Call.